This is a breaking news from an international media outlet called the Sky News. Sky News has published a documentary on Bola Ahmed Tinubu, the president-elect as announced by INEC over an election that is currently being challenged than we have ever had in the history of Nigerian politics. And this is the very first time a presidential candidate has been declared a winner who did not score up to the threshold of 10 million votes that we have seen over the years in the history of Nigerian politics, telling you that something huge has actually happened to the Nigerian political space. It is no longer a news that Nigerians, home and abroad, are currently looking forward to the judgment of the appeal court over who actually legitimately won the presidential election, as the election results are currently being challenged with all sorts of evidence trailing both offline and online in the Nigerian political space. In this documentary, you will also find a video clip where the vice presidential candidate of the All Progressive Congress, Kashim Shettima, was seen paying a visit to a Boko Haram member. It is equally no longer a news that in the Nigeria of today that the APC-led administration has been characterized with extensive borrowing of money home and abroad, which has kept a lot of Nigerians worried on how and the generations that will pay this huge amount of money which the government have borrowed. This had made the likes of Professor Anthony Killer to come out to say time is ripe for Nigerian nation to criminalize this extensive borrowing of money without coming out to tell Nigerians how this money will be repaid. And at the same time, it is no longer a news in Nigeria that we have had over the years how different kinds of animals have come out to swallow Nigerian collective wealth. Listen to the rest of the news.
This guy, Bola Tinubu, has just won Nigeria's election. He won it with just 37% of the vote and is a hugely divisive figure in Nigeria. President Tinubu was a former governor of Lagos, where he earned a reputation over the years as a political godfather, as he influenced the success and failure of multiple people's careers. Because of this, he is often called Jagaban by his supporters, meaning big boss. But to many others, he represents corruption, and at 70 years old, though this is disputed, many see him as just too old and incoherent for the job. They call him Balablu, after a speech where he tried to say hullabaloo, and instead said Tinubu has been after the presidency for years and campaigned using the slogan, "It's my turn." Opposition candidates have refused to accept defeat, claiming the election was rigged.
Fulani, kana amfani da madubi. Fulata manzara ne. Fulata manzara. Gashi kula ba. Kai wannan kai fulani mali ne ko ina ne? Fulani ina ne kai wannan ne kike wannan. Abubuwan ne suna wannan abubuwan. Da na su je na musa ne. Fulata ke. Matanka na. Kundiri ne da. Kire ne gashin ka wannan. Kai kirti fa. Kai kirtin kanka. Kai fulani. Kai fulani gobiyo ne? Na ina. Na gobiyo ne. Ba na ma gumeri ba. Ba mutanen Najeriya ba ne, mutanen gobiyo ne kuwa nan. Kai mutumin gobiyo ne. Ko gaji ganna, kasan gaji ganna. Ko gaji ganna.
Anymore, and it's time to rediscover that, starting from issues like this. To the economy, here we are. This thing about loan. Dr. Boniface, he's tired. You think he's saying he should just let it go because there are too many strange things going on in the country, and one gets tired. This is what I would propose. I would say, one, it is true, that loan is not a new thing. They've requested it before. They're just reiterating it. My position will be moving forward. This is what we need to do. Anytime a loan is secured, let those asking for the loan show us how they're going to pay it before they take it at all. And the people granting them loan as well, I think they should need to look at that. Just as we do in our private life, if you go to a bank, to a lender to ask for money, they ask you how you're going to pay it back. We should transfer that basic principle of economics to public financing to say that when you say you want to use money for a bridge, show me how that bridge is going to generate income to pay it back. That is why it's called capital expenses, because capital causes interest and profit. If that specific thing you're building is so social that it cannot generate income, show me where else that income is going to come from. And I think that's what we need to do. By the same token, and those who spend Commonwealth Fund, I think it's time, I will make a case, we start making it criminal. If you sit in an office and money disappears, whether it's 50 years later, I think your estate should be liable the day we come back to realize that you're not accountable for it. And I think that is the kind of way we need to start thinking out, because Dr. Renabachi did something scary. Maybe it's a sadic, I said it, I don't know. Underlining the fact that the whole country is going to be in debt for 40 years. I jumped from my chair when I heard it. That is the famous debt of the unborn. He might be wicked, but it's a fact. That is what is going on, that we're going to be in that kind of trouble. To Lagos State,